Okay, so Cancers. It honestly looks like a really good month as far as if you're, I see a lot of you possibly making a business move, okay? And some of you, this is more to do with family and home life where you're making some monumental changes. Perhaps you're ending a relationship or you're walking away from something that no longer serves you. This is a major decision for you. This is a cross, it's almost like a fork in the road where you have to decide which way you're going to be going. Because you're realizing that what you've done thus far hasn't truly been serving you, hasn't been benefiting you. And you want change, you want something new. And I feel like that's where this Eight of Swords energy comes in, where you're feeling mentally trapped or stuck, uncertain on how to move forward. But with the Wheel of Fortune above that, it says the wheel is turning, things are changing. Pay attention to your exterior environment because I feel like for a lot of you, there can be a new job offer or opportunity coming your way. Keep your eye out, keep your heart open, because there is a new offer and I see it coming in maybe early in the month, early to mid-month, okay? And this is something that you've been thinking about, something that you've been wanting to change. Maybe for some of you, this is a passion of yours that you want to look into more, investigate more, try to do more of and practice more. And if you follow your heart, if you follow your gut, if you follow that intuition that's calling you when you make this decision, because look, we have the Lovers and we have the High Priestess. So this talks about a fork in the road with a head of heart decision to make. And then the High Priestess here is saying, this is a decision that you need to trust your gut. You need to follow your intuition on. The Page of Pentacles above that is saying this is a new opportunity coming your way. You're going to hear something about this. There's going to be some communication, whether it's in the mail, email, a phone call, maybe a friend or a family member mentions something to you and it sparks off something in your mind and you start thinking about it more thoroughly. And you realize that that's where your passions are headed. That's where you want to go. So you're leaving something behind in order to pursue that. Again, this can be a job or this can be a relationship. This can be something to do with home life even. But it's something that I want to say middle to end of the month, you're going to be celebrating and there's going to be a great victory for you if you decide to pursue this. For a lot of you, it's a creative endeavor. And, there's a message here to not be afraid and not get so caught up on the nitty-gritty details. Try to see big picture. Try to focus on the bigger picture. If other people can do it, why can't you, right? So spend some time really envisioning your life if you did things differently. And try to be optimistic about it, positive about it, because I do see it going very well for you, but it does come down to your thought processes and also how you perceive the situation. It's like that old saying, some people see the glass half full, some people see it half empty. How are you going to perceive this situation will determine the outcome. So I'm going to use some clarifying cards here, and I want to look at the Eight of Cups. Again, remember, this is a general reading, so for those of you who this pertains to, walking away from something that you've invested yourself in for quite some time, or you've put a lot of energy into, can be different for every one of you. Like I said, can be a job. For some of you, it can be something else. But I'd like to see if we can get more clarification. So we have a conversation. Yeah, okay, so there's a conversation. And I feel like for some of you, this conversation has to do with a higher calling. And it's a pleasant surprise. It's almost like you're reaping the harvest of what you may have put out in the universe. You know, if you've been thinking about something for quite some time, but you haven't actually invested some energy or some resources into manifesting it, this month is the month to do that. And it's strange because I've been getting that a lot for most of the signs that I've read thus far, but that just seems to be the energy this month. There's a lot of change going on. I could say this Wheel of Fortune applies to almost every zodiac sign because things are changing, things are shifting, the energy is shifting. And it's you got to keep your eyes open and you got to pay attention because it's not going to fall on your lap. You know, you're going to get clues, you're going to get hints. Like I said, there's a conversation that I feel will take place. You'll get some type of notification. It may start the wheels turning in your head. Follow that, listen to that, trust your intuition. Let's look at this Eight of Swords. Okay. So on the Eight of Swords, we have the Love card, we have consistency, perseverance, and then we also have the Sweetheart. So what I'm getting with these cards is, for some of you, if this pertains to love, this can be where things change in your relationship, okay? Your love relationship. But it's a renewed sense of love, or it's a renewed, rekindled type of romance. Or it's that you're finding it within yourself this month, that you are worthy of this, okay? Love may be on the forefront of your mind for some of you. For others of you, if this is a new creative venture that you're interested in pursuing, this is something you love, this is something you're passionate about, and it's telling you to stay consistent with it because you are going to be well received in this area, no matter what it is. As an example, let's say that you like to paint, but you never thought about pursuing something with painting. Now's the time to do it because you're going to be well received. So don't fear it. Don't worry about it. Don't create unnecessary anxiety for yourself because it looks like it's going to go very well. We have, remember, the Three of Cups here, which the Three of Cups is all about a celebration. It's all about you celebrating your success. I want to look at the Ace of Wands, which is the overall energy for this spread. Yeah, okay. So maybe this comes about because some of you are worried about your finances or you're worried about your home. So there's a bit of despair here initially, but you analyze, you process, you strategize, and you come up with a great plan that's maybe out of your norm, okay? And it's a great gift. It's a blessing. And this is on the Ace of Wands, and the Aces are new beginnings, new creative endeavors. A spark of interest, again, following your passion. So try to really pay attention to that. Even, I would say, focus on your dreams. Maybe you're going to have a dream where you see this, or you wake up and you think that's odd, and it kind of sticks with you throughout the day. Pay attention to that and listen to that. So with that said, let's move on to the love portion of your reading. And we're going to be looking at love for Cancers for October. Sorry for the camera shaking here. It's not very stable on this table. Oh, didn't go well. I hope you're all having a great month thus far. I personally have felt the energy shift. Look at Ace of Wands again. The Hanged Man. You want new beginnings. Knight of Swords. Three of Pentacles. The Moon. Nine of Wands. Two of Swords, Four of Pentacles, and the Five of Swords. A lot of swords here. Okay. Page of Cups is the overall energy. So, the thing is I feel like you want to get back to a point You want to get back to a point where there's a sense of innocence or romance in your relationships, okay? But it's a struggle right now because I feel as though somebody is either being very vague with you, or somebody's holding back. Somebody's holding out, somebody's holding back. And you have a decision to make whether or not you're going to actually pursue this relationship any further, or try with this individual, because they have their guard up. They seriously have their guard up. And you almost feel like, I want to say there's like a little, I don't want to say combativeness, but perhaps for some of you, I feel like it's more, like egos are in the way, pride is in the way, and you don't want that. You're understanding that that's not a relationship. That's not what love is about. Love is about intimacy. It's about vulnerability. It's about being willing to sacrifice because you love somebody. Comes back to that biblical saying, love is patient, love is kind, love is humble. And you know that, and you're not receiving that from your partner or from a potential partner, perhaps from someone you're interested in. So you certainly have a decision to make this month regarding whether or not you feel you're going to continue to pursue this or you're going to leave it behind. In the end, I see this person, it's just like they're very, there's no depth in this relationship. It's lacking depth. It's lacking intimacy. It's lacking that connection, that spark. So you have to listen to that. You have to pay attention to that. And don't force it, because this person is just going to make you feel like they took advantage of you in some way. And it's hurtful because you have honest, true intentions. Your heart is pure. For some of you, this may be a person that you were interested in because you thought you saw some honesty and you saw some connection with this person, but you may be realizing now that this person is severely emotionally immature and they're lacking and they don't have the depth that you need. I do see some of you walking away from this. Now, for those of you who are single, the beginning of the month, there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of excitement, but you're single and you're waiting and you're tired of waiting. So this month is about you getting yourself out there, letting your guard down so that you can meet someone. I feel like for you singles, you're suffering from some type of self-doubt or insecurity, and you're holding back. You're not being open. You're not open to receiving love, even though that's what you want. So you got to be more confident, and you have to, believe that you're worthwhile for someone else to find you worthwhile. You know what I mean? Because I think that some of you, you're only looking at the singles now. You're only looking at something on surface level. I almost get like somebody is like, well, I don't know. I feel too old to date. And who's going to like me? So you're not even trying. When there's someone out there who, you have so much more to offer. Like your age shouldn't be the deciding factor, but you're kind of making it like, you're worried about shallow things. And you don't need to worry about that. There's going to be someone out there who loves you and appreciates you and admires you for who you are. So you have to have faith and confidence in yourself and in other people, even though I know that can be hard to do. Let's look at the moon with these clarifying cards here. Yeah, some of you are really wanting, for those of you who are single, You're single, okay? This is the young woman. You're looking for a new love, new relationship, new partnership. And you want something with commitment. This is a contract, agreement, negotiation card. This is the Merchant. So you want someone that has something substantial to offer you, and you're holding out hope. Same goes for those of you in a relationship, which I was touching on earlier. You're wanting that love, that romance back in your relationship, and you're holding out hope. But these cards coming up on the moon tells me that you have a fear, an innate maybe understanding of you know what, this may not turn out that way. I want to look at the Five of Swords here. Yeah. See, don't hold out for someone that you know is not doesn't have your best interest, because you're analyzing it. Maybe you're putting too much effort into this, but then you receive some communication that you realize this person's just not emotionally mature, or they're not emotionally well. So they don't have the capacity to offer you what you need. Okay. And in the end, you're going to feel like you lost out. And this coming up on the Five of Swords, the Five of Swords can represent a shallow victory. So you're going to feel like this person's been really petty with you. This person, the least they could do is be honest with you. But what you don't understand is they don't have that emotional maturity and that capacity to be that with you. And so you can't force it, Let's look at the Hanged Man. We had a card fly out, and it's cheerfulness. Okay, so yeah, on the Hanged Man, you're wanting happiness in this relationship, or perhaps initially it felt this way. There was some potential, but a change has come about. This is the Thief card too, so this can mean they stole something from you. They stole your heart. They weren't completely honest, and now there's sorrow, sadness. For those of you who are single, it's saying that you want cheerfulness, happiness, and joy, right? There's a change that's coming about for you, but you don't see it right away because you're still waiting. You're still waiting for this relationship, and there's some sorrow, but you got to be hopeful. You got to be hopeful, and you have to be optimistic, because that's what you need. That's the energy you need to attract the kind of love you want in your life.